For refugees living in foreign countries, the main priorities are survival and basic education, so arts can often be overlooked. But they're a powerful tool, which is why one organization in Lebanon is working with refugees to help their creative voices be heard. Its main initiative, Showbuild, is 2 weeks of theater building with young Palestinian and Syrian refugees. Belle Lupton went to find out how the production works.
The streets in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley have become busier over the last 5 years.
Syrian refugees now make up more than 50% of this town's population. The influx of new residents, many of them in informal tented settlements, mean that relations between the Syrian and the Lebanese communities can, at times, become strained.
On the outskirts of the town, tents line almost every field. Makeshift shelters in the shadow of more permanent homes.
Here I'm just 7 kilometres away from the border with Syria. It's just over those mountains there. And as little as 2 years ago, you could hear the bombing coming from over that border with Syria.
Now the silence is broken by a different sort of sound. This group of 12 to 15-year-olds has just 5 days to create a whole piece of musical theatre from scratch.
The idea is to sing beautifully, to write songs, and to write stories from our imagination. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be a show, and we'll sing in it. I wanted to be involved to have fun, and to learn singing and everything, and to use my brains and think.
Plot, songs, choreography, every element of the show has to be devised and developed under the guidance of Scenario, an arts education organisation that works with refugees in Lebanon. Many of the children attending live in makeshift tents just outside the school. Some cannot read.
A lot of children, especially older children, don't attend full-time education or any education. So being put into a situation such as a Showbuild where you are working very hard, you're working constantly in groups, and at the end of the day you're being told what to do and when to do it. Those are things that if you're out of an educational institution become just quite challenging.
If we say, come, we're starting, you come straight away. You do not stay there. You do not carry on talking. You do not go and get a drink of water. You come straight away. Hayat, Muhammad, Abdul Salam.
Life in tented camps can be disruptive. For example, things can spill over into arguments, and arguments can spill over into physical aggression. Fuses sometimes are quite short, and we definitely see that amongst our participants, and we see children who feel very tense very quickly, even when something really quite small has happened, like someone's taken a football accidentally from them.
These challenges mean that here the emphasis is on the process of making theatre as well as on the finished product. And this project isn't just for Syrians. Among the participants are a handful of local Lebanese children. The idea is to foster bonds between the two communities.
Syrians started coming to Lebanon over fear of the war, and now they say there are more Syrians than Lebanese in Lebanon, and that they're all looking for work. I have lots of Syrian friends, about 15 in the neighborhood. They're all renting my cousin's place. We go to theirs and they come over to mine, and we play together.
My only Lebanese friend is the girl who lives on the floor below us.
It's not unusual in Lebanon to find organisations incorporating music, theatre and art into their programmes. But Scenario says it's unique in making art for art's sake. Theatre here isn't a kind of therapy. It has an intrinsic value of its own. And Scenario's long-term aim is for these week-long programmes to run themselves.
We're working with 25 children, but at the same time we're also working with 5 trainees who are learning to do what we're doing. So in a year's time, I don't have to be here because we are, in some respects, a foreign organisation. When we leave, we don't want there to be nothing happening. And I think we're in a position already where if we did leave, most of this week could happen without us.
Jihad is one of those trainees. He's now also a part-time staff member. The rest of the time he's studying at university in Beirut, where he's on a full scholarship. A fact made more extraordinary because he's a Palestinian refugee and he lives in Beirut's Shatila camp.
Scenario really helped me with introducing me to theater and to music. I think scenario workshops really help kids with letting them their voices to be heard, because not so many other projects help the kids to introduce their own ideas. They just teach him what to do. What scenario does, it actually let kids to do their own ideas for the songs, for the theater, and for the dances. So what we see in the final show is all kids' ideas.
Friday afternoon, and it's showtime. Parents and members of the local community arrive to watch the hour-long performance. It's open to anyone. This is a conservative community, and for many of the parents, it's the first time they've let their children perform in any kind of play, let alone a mixed production.
Ala, Rania, Aziz and Bayan were my children in the play. We're so grateful for this week. The play was really beautiful.
For the participants, it's been an intense week of learning and meeting new people.
What I liked most was the way the teachers treated us. It was really great training. I've never done anything like it.
Props are all that's left of this year's Showbuild. And it's not long before destruction finds them too, in this place where things are so precarious. But these children now have access to a year-round programme of choir, theatre and movement workshops with Scenario. And next year, they may be allowed to join a new group as it does its first Showbuild. Belle Lupton, TRT World, the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon.